Welcome back, folks. This here is going to be my home until APT Taipei, September 27th. Don't forget to be there. $1,500 main event. It's going to be $300,000 or $400,000 for first place. It's going to be so much fun. I will be doing some commentary there. Anyways, back to the challenge. We are currently on day 7. Last 3 days, I have no footage, unfortunately, but I was very busy and I didn't do a whole lot pertaining to this challenge. Day 4, I grinded a few micro stakes tournaments, booked a win of $326, no final tables, but still very nice to book a profit of that without a final table. Ended off the night just hanging out with my nephews and slept in my car that night. Day 5, I had a job interview and I spent all day editing last week's video and I crashed my friend's couch that night. It was really, really nice. Day 6, I finished up editing last week's video. I need to hire an editor. That's what I need to do. And then hung out with my nephews again. We picked up the keys to this place and I went over to my storage locker to grab a few things, which I'll show you in a little bit. So for this place, I am currently paying $500 a week. First week is already paid off and I paid back my $1,000 cash advance. So I'm a bit starved for cash right now. So the goals for this video are to make enough money to pay for rent again next week. That is necessary. I'm not going back to that car. You guys mark my words. I don't really want to take out another cash advance. It seems a bit silly to pay another $70 to withdraw $1,000, so we're not going to do that. What I will do is we're going to play on GG. Unfortunately, I can't withdraw money without giving up my 100% welcome bonus. So I need to enter around $2,000 worth of tournaments to be able to hit the $500 welcome bonus that I entered. So if we go around a 30% ROI, that's about $700 plus the $500 welcome bonus, so it's about $1,200 USD. I think we can easily do $2,000 of tournaments. $1,200 USD is like 1665 Canadian, which is amazing. That'll be plenty. Pay next week's $500, get 2 more buy-ins for 1-3. It's gonna be great. But before we get into that, I wanna show you guys what I pulled out of my storage locker. My old shaving kit. My blender. I've got my tea set here, water boiler, tea. My old watch, haven't worn that in a while. And this is a Gaiwan, which is, I think, Swedish for tea maker. So I'm gonna make some tea, save on that $8 coffee. And finally, my old powerlifting gear. It's been too long since I've been back in the gym regularly, so I wanna set myself a goal before APT Taipei. I wanna hit a 275 squat, a 185 bench, and a 365 deadlift. Currently, I am very, very weak. I've got about a 135 squat, a 95 bench, and a 225 deadlift, so quite a ways to go. So it's currently August 1st today, and I leave in about 2 months to APT Taipei, around September 25th. And my goal is to hit a $10,000 net worth. We are currently starting this video. So we ended off last video with $1,126. On day 4, we won 326 playing micro stakes, so that is gonna add up to about $1,452. However, paying for this, as well as some groceries, a fan, other stuff like that, about $928 I spent. So that's gonna bring us down to $524, but I still think this is doable. So we've got a lot of work to do this episode. We got 1 week to fire $2,000 worth of tournaments. I'm gonna get a good night's rest tonight, find a gym, and tomorrow I will see you for some tea and some final tables. Let's go. We're back. It's day 8. Yes, it's gone. I don't know why I did it. Anyways, look like this guy. But we played some tournaments today. Fired about $500 worth of tournaments. Also, I made a mistake. The rate back is $20,000 in tournaments because it's $2,000 in rake paid, not $2,000 in entries. So I'm going to be doing about $1,000 of tournaments a day, hopefully, and then get that done in 20 days so I can clear that amount, which will hopefully be 10,000 Canadian, assuming a 30% ROI, all to get $500 in rake back. It sounds doable, but I played about, like $400 or $500 today. We won about $100. We had a final table fiasco. I was actually chip leading that tournament when there were 11 players left. I made a speculative call with a guy who had a $150 bounty, which is something like 7.5 buy-ins. So went for that, we lost that, and then we lost 4s versus 7s, and then 10s versus jacks. Very unfortunate to go out in 9th place, but overall still booked a $100 or so win. And I was going to put in another session tonight. It's about 8 p.m., but Greg has a 25-cent, 50-cent home game again tonight, and I love punishment. So let's go over there, donate my last $500 or $600 that I have left in cash, and I'll meet you guys there. We're going to film some hands, and we're going to lose buckets today, like we always do. I'm not even going to fool myself. Let's go. Here we are at Greg's home game, playing some 25-cent, 50-cent in for $100. We open up the ace deuce of spades up to $2 and they cut off. Button makes a call, and now small blind puts in the squeeze up to 15. A little bit in the large size, but this seems to be the regular size, and he's been quite loose for this. So ace deuce of spades, definitely good enough to get in there, so I make the call and button calls as well. 3 ways to a flop of 6-5 deuce. Unfortunately, no spades, but now that small blind checks to me, I reckon I've got the best hand enough at the time to want to put in a protection bet. So 15 into the middle, and both my opponents make the call. Off to the turn, it is the king of diamonds. Small blind checks, gonna start slowing down here, so I toss in the check and button checks behind as well. Off to the river, it is the jack of spades, and now small blind puts in a bet of $50. A little bit over half pot, and I think we just gotta let it go here. Really unfortunate. Could have been like a 400 big blind pot coming to us, but it was not meant to be, so we fold, and we're gonna keep going. On to the next hand, a $1.25 raise from the cutoff. We flat with the 6s in the small blind, and big blind comes along as well. 3 ways to this flop of jack, 9, 4, 2 hearts, 1 spade. I check, and now big blind donks for $3 here. Pretty big sizing here. Cutoff gets out the way, and this feels a little bit bluffy. So I'm going to call. We go to the turn, is a 4 of clubs. Doesn't change much. I check, and my opponent pretty quickly checks behind. Off to the river, it is the 3 of diamonds. I'm going to check one more time. And most likely going to call here, given that he didn't bet the turn. And then my opponent puts in an overbet of $15. I don't know. I'm going to make the call, and we get shown the queen jack. Oh my goodness, I'm so bad at poker. Okay, in the cutoff, opening up the 7-6 offsuit up to $1. Button puts in the min raise up to $2. Small blind folds, big blind calls, and obviously we're not folding. Not loving it though, but we make the call. 3 ways to this flop of queen, 9, 5. So we flop ourselves a gut shot. Big blind checks, I check, and button checks behind. So I'm feeling like he's got some sort of like ace king, ace jack kind of hand. But we go 3 ways to the turn. It is the 4 of clubs, and prove me it's an open ender. Big blind checks. I'm going to start betting here. $2 into the middle. And now button raises it up to 10. Big blind folds, and now it's back on me. And I'm just not believing this. He checked back a strong hand on a queen, 9, 5 with 2 hearts board. I don't think so. So I'm just going to try and push him off a hand like ace king. I move all in, and we get snap called. The river is the 4 of diamonds. We don't improve. My opponent had pocket queens. Oh boy. Oh dear. All right. We're going to reload. I think we're in the game for like 250 now. Got a proper hand this time. We bump up the ace queen of hearts up to $2. Button calls. Small blind now puts in the squeeze up to 12. Big blind now overcalls, and don't really want to 4-bet and get shoved on, which seems to happen a lot in these games. So I'm just going to call in position here, and button comes along as well. 4 ways to this flop of ace, 5, 5 rainbow. We do have the backdoor flush draw as well, but a pretty good start here. Small blind now checks, big blind checks, and I think you could bet or check here. The 5 is a little bit concerning 4 ways. And there could possibly be some ace kings in there as well. So I'm just going to check this one back, and button checks behind as well. Off the turn, it is the 3 of spades. Doesn't change much. Action checks to me. We're going to have to start betting here. 20 is the middle, and only the button makes a call. Heads up to the river, it is the queen of diamonds, so now we'd be ace king, but it doesn't really change a whole lot. I'm gonna try to get some value here, and if I had missed spades, I would probably go pretty big, so $80 into the middle, and my opponent makes the correct fold. Yeah. The $1 straddle is on, and the $2 straddle is live. There is a limper, and the cutoff is bumped it up to $15. This player is very loose, very aggressive, so I'm going to put in the re-raise with the jack ten of hearts. $50 to go, and only the cutoff makes the call. We go heads up to a flop. I don't even remember what it was. It was like 5-3 deuce rainbow or something. And then he leads into me for $5. I'm just going to put in my normal C bet, going to completely ignore this $5. So I put in 30 and he jams. So we obviously fold our jack 10 and he had pocket kings. Oh boy. This next hand, we have a limper and I bump up the king deuce of spades up to $3. Get a call from middle position as well as the big blind and the original limper. So we went 4 ways to this flop of jack 9, 4, 2 spades, 1 diamond. Big blind now donks for pot. It really likes to donk on the pot for these jack 9x boards with a flush draw, but under the gun folds, and since his size is so big, I don't think we're getting him to fold anything, so I'm just going to call in position, and middle position comes along as well. Off the turn, it is the 10 of diamonds, doesn't change a whole lot. Big blind now bets $32, which is kind of crazy since he's pretty capped after betting pot on the flop to go for this specific turn to just keep barreling to 2 players, but picked up some equity. We're going to make the call once again, and middle position calls as well. Off the river, it is the 9 of clubs pairing the board. Big blind now checks, and my bluff is just never getting through here. So I check, middle position checks, and middle position takes it down with the jack 8. And we lose $50 that hand. 100 big blinds. Opening up the 9-8 of clubs up to $2 and under the gun. We get a call from hijack before the cutoff. Who likes his $15 squeezes, puts it in. Yeah, a hand like this, we are going to have to call, and hijack gets out the way. Heads up to a pretty good flop of 9-5 deuce all spades. I check it, and we face a very large bet for a monotone board, especially in a 3-bet pot of $20. So, yeah, and there's only one option here. We make the call. Return the deuce of diamonds. I check once again, and cut off. Now puts in the all-in for $95 and overbet. And I really want to call this, but 7 deuce game is on. And now 7 deuce beats us, which is annoying. That's one of his main bluffs. So like we're ahead of like ace king or ace queen with a spade. Are we even ahead of those hands, especially facing such a large bet? Best case scenario, we have 60%. So yeah, I just let it go, and we get shown the 7 deuce, of course. And we owe another $2 bounty. I hate poker. Straddle is live. There's a limper, and I bump up the ace 9 of spades up to $4. We get 3 callers, so we're going 4 ways to this flop, which is all right. It's 8, 3, 3, 2 spades, 1 heart. Action checks to me, and on a board, I'm going to want to bet too often, especially with 4 ways, so I check this back, and button checks as well. We head to the turn is the 7 of hearts, introducing another flush draw. Small blind checks, low jack checks. I put in a bet of $6. Button calls, and now small blind puts in the re-raise up to 25. Low jack gets out the way, and I think we're just calling here, and this invites button in as well. The river is the beautiful king of spades. We make our flush, but unfortunately, small blind now checks, and with $91 behind, $92.50 in the pot. Let's get some value. I put in an all-in $91, and for a little bit of thought, button folds and small blind folds. All right. All right, our stack is actually looking pretty good. We're up to 500, so we're up around $100 for the night after winning a very big double board PLO bomb pot. We scooped it. I can't remember the action, but anyways, we're up 100 now, which is nice. Middle position has raised to 3. Low jack has called, and I put in the re-raise up to 14 with a 7 deuce of diamonds. 7 deuce game is on. We get a cold call from the cutoff, as well as middle position and low jacks. We're going 4 ways to this flop, which is okay. It's jack 3, 3, 2 hearts, 1 spade. Action checks to me, and 7 deuce is going to be your main bluffs when the 7 deuce game is on. So that's going to be what I do. 14 into the middle, cutoff makes the call, and my other opponents make the fold. Off to the turn, it is the 3 of diamonds, a really good card. If I had anything that was jacks plus, I would continue barreling here, but it would not be large, about 1/3, I think. So $40, about half pot, that looks okay. And cutoff, after a bit of thought, once again makes the call. So he's probably got a jack here, but he still has to worry about aces, kings, queens. So let's take a river. It is the king of clubs, which is really nice. If I did have ace, king, or king, queen that are barreling, it's going to make his jack a lot less likely to call. So let's put in one final barrel. 135 into the middle, and after 30 seconds of thought, my opponent moves all in. It sucks because there's no way he has a 3 here. He cold called our 3-bet for $14. Maybe he's got pocket jacks. I don't know. But anyways, we have to fold, and my opponent is nice enough to tell us he had the king, jack. So we were up 100 for maybe a couple hands. That didn't last long, and we're once again back into the negative. This is our final hand at Greg's home game. The $2 straddle is live. I'm in the small one, ace 10 off, and I bump it up to 6. Only the $2 straddle calls, so we're heads up to a flop of queen, 10, 6, 1 club, 2 diamonds. Top pair middle kicker I think is good enough for a bet, so $4 into the middle, and my opponent asks if I want to call. Then he tells me that he has 8 high. Yes, I would like to call then. So he makes the call. The turn is the 8 of hearts. So my opponent has now made a pair, but if he had 8 high on the flop, that means I'm still way ahead. So since my opponent is literally capped at 1 pair, the only bet size that I want to use on this turn is an overbet. Anything that's ace 8, king 8 plus is probably going to be an overbet, and then I'm going to use my 6x and just a ton of bluffs. You know, he's very capped, so $30 into the middle, and my opponent makes the call. We go to the river. It is the 4 of hearts, which is not great. If he had 8 high, that means any 7, 5, 4, 3, or deuce is pretty bad. He could have 8, 4 of clubs, you know, for the back door. 8, 4 diamonds. I don't know. I decide to check it, and my opponent checks it back, and we're up against the 8, 5. So lucky to win a pot there, but it will not be enough, and we end up losing quite a bit once again at Greg's home game. All right, guys, that was a devastating poker tournament session there. I regged for about 35 tournaments, cashed 1. I lost every all-in pre-flop except for like 2. I'm not even kidding. Yeah, I just get an ace king versus ace 10. I go, well, I guess I lose. Sure enough, I just lost everything. I couldn't even keep up registering tournaments. So that was a $690 loss in one tournament session. It was brutal. I also lost 150 at Greg's last night, which is a total of over $1,000 down in 4 sessions. Playing 25 cent, 50 cent. It's not going well, guys. I'm running very poorly to start off this challenge. It's kind of like how all my challenges start, now that I think about it. But I'm just going to get back to basics. I cashed out almost everything on my GG account, and I think my net worth is now down to negative $379, so not great. I've got a little bit of cash. We're going to go play some 1-3. It's what I know how to do. This run needs to end. So it is August 3rd right now. On August 9th, I'm going to be driving down to the WSOP Calgary with a good friend, and we're going to go play over there. Most likely just going to play the 1-3 match the stack, maybe fire some tournaments. I'm probably going to sell some very large pieces though, so I'm able to actually play in them, because $1,700 buy-in is just stupid at this point. So maybe I'll sell like 70, 80%. But anyways, I'm going to go play some 1-3 now. I'm going to go down to the park, play some 1-3. I think I've got just over a buy-in, so let's hope things go well. Otherwise, we're going to have to do another big cash advance on the credit card. I think I'm just going to do like 3,000, max out the card. And after that, if that doesn't work out, we are going to go find ourselves a job. Because this is not working out, you guys. We've also got rent to pay in like 3-4 days, something like that. Today's Saturday. So yeah, in 4 days, we're going to pay another $500 in rent. Oh boy, oh boy. All right. Let's go play a little bit of 1-3. And I will see you guys in those hand histories. Let's hope for a 1K win. Let's go, let's go. Here we are playing some 1-3 at Park, in for $500, and it's already going not too great. We started the session losing a few small pots, and then we pick up pocket queens, take it down pre-flop. Very unfortunate, but now on to the first real hand. There's an under the gun raise to 15. We look down at ace jack offsuit and the low jack, put in the re-raise up to $50, and only the original raiser makes the call. We go heads up to this flop of 9, 8, 6, 2 spades, 1 club. Under the gun checks, and not a board I'm going to want to bet pretty much ever. I'm pretty much just going to check 100% here, so I check it back. Turn is all right. It's a jack of hearts. We make top pair, top kicker. My opponent now checks it over to us, and now we're going to want to go for some value here. He's checked twice, and I'm feeling pretty good with my top pair, top kicker, so let's try to get stacks in by the river. We're going to need about 80% here, so $80 into the middle. My opponent snap jams. We're obviously never folding here. Let's hope we're not beat. I make the call. We're heading to the river. It is the 6 of diamonds, a pretty good card. My opponent says jack is good, which is very good news. And we're going to win a nice $748 pot here to put us in the profit, $248. On to the next hand. We have 2 limpers, and the under the gun player is someone I really want to isolate. King 4 suited is definitely strong enough to do so, so I bump it up to $20. We get a call from the small blind as well as the big blind before the limper puts in that stupid limp re-raise. I thought it was to 40, but it's actually to $50. So annoying. I hate 1-3. These limp re-raises, people limping ace-king, people just donking in spots that make no sense. I missed 2-5, you guys. Under the gun folds, and even for 50, I don't think we can fold, but I thought it was 40 at the time. Anyways, I make the call, small blind calls, and now big blind, for whatever reason, decides to fold. I don't know what's going on, guys. I couldn't tell you. And it gets weirder because the flop is queen 7-3 with 2 hearts. We flop our flush draw, and small blind snap shoves 250 into the middle. What is happening? What is going on? Under the gun makes the call, and now we're just priced in with our flush draw. We're calling 252 to win a pot that's going to be 900, and we have 35% or whatever. So I guess we call. Turn is beautiful. We turn the nuts with the ace of hearts. The limper now snap shoves his stack 148 into the middle. I make the call. We head to the river. It is the 7 of spades pairing the board. Small blind rolls over 10-7 suited, and under the gun has the pocket aces, which he didn't even notice was a full house. It took him about a minute to realize it was a full house. And then we get met with an over-the-top celebration. He has fist pump in the air. He is yelling. He is very happy as he drives us further and further into poverty. Moving things along, under the gun has raised to $10. I look down at 5-4 spades on the button. I wouldn't mind squeezing this hand, but I think just flatting in position makes a bit more sense, and then using a hand that's a little bit weaker, like 7-5 suited, to put in as my 3 bets. So I make the call, small blind and big blind come along. We are 4 ways to this flop of king, queen, deuce with 2 spades and a heart, backdoor straight draw, as well as a front door flush draw. Original raiser puts in a bet of $25. A little bit too big for me to want to raise here, but he could occasionally do it, but 5-high flush draw, I don't know. I just make the call, small blind calls, and big blind gets out the way. We go to the turn, and it's nice. It's a 7 of spades, so we make our flush. Small blind checks, under the gun checks. Gonna put in a bet here. Around half pot is my usual sizing, so 65 into the middle. Small blind makes a call, and under the gun folds. So we head to the river. It's not great. It's a 6 of spades, and now small blind is in the tank before leading for nearly pot, $220. Oh, man. This is a bit silly. So I start thinking about the hands that he can have here. If he has a hand that has a naked ace of spades, it would have to be ace queen, ace jack, maybe ace 10. I don't know if those are going to overcall on the flop and then call the turn again. I don't know. So when I was thinking about this, it's either we both turn the flush, he just had the nut flush, or he's got the ace of spades with the queen, which I think he squeezes sometimes. So those are my thoughts in game. It's either ace queen and the ace of spades, or we both turn the flush. So having 5-4 spades I think is really nice, blocking a lot of ace 5 and ace 4 suited. And then he could be turning a hand like, I don't know, queen jack with no spade into a bluff here. He knows that I bluff a lot, so he could be calling light. He is a reg. Yeah, overall, I think maybe he has the nut flush on the turn, but I just don't think he had it often enough. And I think ace queen is just so low frequency that I'm going to put in the hero call here. I make the call and we get shown the ace jack, the ace of spades. Brutal. We turned the flush twice today and unfortunately couldn't hold with either one. That is going to be another big loss. I think I'm now net negative in terms of poker since I started this challenge, which is not great. Not great. Oh dear, you guys, we are not running good to start this challenge off. I think every session except for one at River Rock has been disastrous. Just terrible. Probably, I feel like this is the worst run bet I've ever had in a single day between those tournaments and today. But we're gonna get back on the grind. I think I'm gonna take tomorrow off. I need a break. It's too much poker. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're gonna go take out a cash advance again. And we're just gonna play 12 hours of 1-3. Okay, let's do 10 hours of 1-3. 40 hours in 4 days, build up a little bit of a cushion, sort of a bankroll, pay for 2 weeks of rent, and get over to the World Series of Poker Calgary. That's the goal for this video, you guys. Next 4 days, just a ton of 1-3. But I'm taking tomorrow off. I'll see you guys then. Bye. All right, guys, quick update. Just got back from the gym. I got some pretty bad news. I just pulled my back real bad. I can't even sit down right now. It hurts too much. And standing isn't fun either. But it's gonna be no poker today. I might play some tournaments tomorrow if I can like sit down comfortably for a bit. But for now, I'm just gonna Voltaren, ibuprofen, get better. I got 4 days to make a bunch of money so that I can go to Calgary. It's looking like we're gonna take a cash advance again. But that's it for me. Hopefully I'll see you guys in some final tables or some 1-3 hand histories next. See you there. Okay, folks, we've headed down to Grand Villa to play some 1-3. My back is still quite sore, but we are going to get through this and hopefully play about 4 hours today. I pick up my first playable hand, 2 hands in. I bump up the 7-6 diamonds up to $10 in under the gun. We had call from under the gun +2, and then hijack makes a call before folding around to the big blind, who puts in the squeeze up to $55. A little bit on the small side, and 7-6 suited plays very well against a 3-bet range, so I make the call. Under the gun folds, and now hijack back raise jams all in for 246. I'm already on tilt, you guys. I hate 1-3. What is this? Anyways, we both fold, and he wins the pot, and I'm gonna try to relax. On to the next hand. We're looking at 3 limps before the small blind now bumps up to $16. He doesn't have too much behind, but given this is such a small raise over 3 players, I'm going to try and ISO him here. I make it $40 to go, and now Button calls, who is a player that back raise jammed all in last hand, and small blind folds. So heads up to his flop of King, 9, 7, 2 spades, 1 club. I'm going to start with a small bet here. I put in 30. My opponent makes the call. Hence the turn is not great. It's a 6 of clubs, introducing quite a few 2 pairs, 9-6, 7-6, as well as some like 10-8s and 5-8s, which this guy can definitely have, but he can also have like 9-4 suited or something like that. So I'm feeling very good about my King X here, and I'm just going to go for 3 streets, hope for a clean river, and try to get stacks in. So I put in $100, and my opponent makes a quick fold, unfortunately. Looking down at 2 limps, we have the pocket 5s in the small blind. I hate limping, so I bump it up to $15, and both my opponents make the call. 3 ways to this flop of King, 7, 6, rainbow. Pretty good start here. I'm going to bet 15 into the middle, and they both make the call. Hence the turn, it's pretty nice. The 4 of clubs. It's not going to improve my opponents too much, seeing as I have both the 5s, so I'm going to continue to barrel here with my open ender. I just don't expect to get jammed on too often here, so 90 into the middle. Middle position tanks for quite a while before making the fold and cut off. After a little bit of thought, decides he is going to look me up. He makes the call. We head to the river. It is the ace of spades, not improving us. I show my hand, and my opponent has the 8-6 offsuit. I can't get value. I get hero called by ridiculous hands. I think I suck at poker, you guys. I don't know what's going on, but this is not fun. The stupid button straddle is live. I hate that thing so much. Big blind has limped. Under the gun is limped. Low jack has limped, and I looked at a king queen off in the cutoff. definitely worthy of a squeeze. I bump it up to $30. Button now makes the call, and big blind puts in this stupid limp re-raise. This is so tilting. Everything about this hand is just tilting. Under the gun folds, under the gun, the low jack folds, and we want to get the button out of there with all this dead money. I shove all in for 550. Button makes a quick fold. We are heads up to this flop of Jack 8 for rainbow, the turn, 3 of spades, river, 5 of hearts. My opponent limped ace king. On to the next hand. We are picking up a real hand now. Under the gun has bumped up to 15. I re-raised to $50. We get a cold caller from the small blind, and the original raiser decides just to call. 3 ways to this flop of ace, 7, 5, all hearts. Action checks to me, and our hand is just way too weak to be betting here, especially against 2 players, so I just check this back. Turns even worse is this 4 of hearts. Action once again checks to me, and I'm just pretty much done with the hand. I check it back. River, the 6 of clubs, so now any 8 or 3 beats this as well. Small blind puts in a bet of $50. Under the gun folds, and I want to hero call this so bad, but we literally lose to like 3 deuce offsuit here. So I make a very annoying fold with the pocket queens. We have 2 limps, and I look down at Jack 8 of clubs in the hijack. Definitely a little bit on the loose side, but I do want to ISO these guys and play some pots in position, so I bump it up to $20, and only one of the limpers makes a call. We go heads up to a very good flop. It's ace, king, 4, 2 clubs, 1 heart. One of the best boards for the in-position player, which is why my opponent now leads for 20% pot, $10 into me. Okay, well, we got a flush draw. We have the range advantage. He should be quite worried here, so I'm going to bump this up to $40, and my opponent makes a really quick call. Hence the turn, it is the 5 of spades, so close. Same color, but the wrong suit. My opponent checks to me, and I'm going to go for it. He's been folding quite a bit, and I think I can get him off a hand like ace 6 suited or something like that. So I move all in, and we get snap called. All right, off to the river. It is the Jack of spades. We make a pair, but my opponent has the ace 10. So we are losing that one as well. The same player as the last hand has now raised to $10 over limp, and we look on a king 10 of spades in the small blind. Good enough for a re-raise. I make it $40 to go, and my opponent makes a call. Heads up to this flop of king, queen, 7 rainbow. Definitely worthy of small bet here, so I put in 25, and my opponent makes a very quick call. We go to the turn. It is the 7 of diamonds. Going to start checking here. My hand's not that strong to go for 3 streets, especially since he called my 3 bet. So I check it, and my opponent snap bets 100. Not feeling great about this, but definitely can't fold at the time. So I make the call. We head to the river. It is the 7 of spades. I check to my opponent. He laughs and snap checks back. I show, and we're up against the ace, queen. Pretty nice. So we are going to win a nice pot there. Weird $100 bet on the turn. He looked a little bit nervous. I don't think he knew what he was doing there. So anyways, we pick up a nice pot here. All right, we've got a real hand this time, and we've got some action. Under the gun is raised to 10. Low jack has called, and I put in the squeeze up to $50 on the button. Small blind folds, and now big blind is deep in the tank, tanking for quite a while before putting in the re-raise up to 175, the cold 4 bet. Under the gun now snap shoves his 120 in, low jack folds, and now it's back on me. I mean, ace king suited. I think maybe offsuit, I'll just whatever, let it go. Not think about it too much, but big blind has been seeing me 3-bet very, very aggressively this session. And he is paying attention, so he could be doing this a little bit lighter than usual. So I am just going to go with my hand here. Yeah, I'm just going to go with it. I move all in. Big blind thinks for a few seconds, makes the call. We go 3 ways to this flop of 9, 8, deuce, 2 hearts, 1 diamond. The turn, 7 of hearts, river, 5 of clubs. No help to us. Big blind has pocket kings. And under the gun had the ace, queen. So we're dead to 2 outs with ace, king suited. Yep. Poker. Finish up that session at Villa. We are still running worse than hot ham water. It's just never ending, this downswing. Oh well. Gonna get dinner, and then I'll see you guys at the outro. And that is gonna be it for episode number 3 of the $0 to $2 million challenge. And let's hope that this is the worst one that we'll ever have, because this episode was brutal. We did days 4 to days 13. So in total, this is about 10 days. Let's go over the numbers. I spent $1,758. 1,000 of that was rent, and I spent quite a bit on groceries. So yeah, a little bit high for 10 days, I'll say. For poker, we lost $1,199. Oh boy, that's not fun. We still got the $482 that we got paid from YouTube, and that's going to bring the total net worth down $2,957 this episode. If we're looking at totals, I've spent a total of $2,146 since the beginning of this series. I'm now down lifetime in poker for this series, minus $221, and the net worth going forward is going to be negative $1,885. Ooh, so let's talk about what I'm going to do next video. I am going to be increasing my credit card limits. We are taking out some more money, and we're going to grind 1-3. It is August 7th right now at the 8th, 9th, and 10th. That's 3 days to grind a bunch of 1-3. And then we're going to World Series of Poker Calgary on the 11th, and we're going to win buckets there. That's the goal, just to get out of the hole, play a ton of 1-3, and hope for the best. I guess that's all we can do. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more, obviously subscribe. Please click some likes because I lost $3,000 this video, so that would be really, really nice. Anyways, I will see you all in the next one. Thank you, everyone.